Hi folks, welcome back to the Cannabis Corner. I'm your host, Kerry Burns. It's good to be back with you. Well, we've had 4 months now of legal cannabis in the United States, in Colorado and Washington. And I wonder if that period of 4 months, since nobody's died from smoking cannabis, certainly there's a lot of people using it up in those two states and everywhere else for that matter. But I wonder if the naysayers, the ones who, have been saying that cannabis has been deadly and dangerous for the last 7.5 decades since it was made illegal, I wonder if this has had any change on their opinion and stuff about cannabis and the fact that the people in Colorado and Washington got it right as far as making it legal. The last 7.5 decades of it being illegal certainly hasn't changed anybody's mind, even though during that period nobody ever died from smoking cannabis and nobody ever went to the emergency room or had any type of emergency treatment for it and all. But we continue to have law enforcement officers that refer to cannabis when they make arrests on the streets and stuff as a deadly narcotic. They keep saying that it's dangerous and is the fuel for all the criminal activity that's going on out there, and none of this is true. And we've had this just ongoing, continuous sort of lies that keep their part going, and this is wrong. And what needs to be going on right now in the United States of America, since we're all Americans, is that we should all 50 states should have cannabis legal, like Colorado and Washington. You should be able to grow your own cannabis if you want to. You should be able to open up a store and sell it just like you open up a store and sell anything else. These are items that people need to start addressing, but really one of the most serious things that needs to be addressed right now is this continued occurrence of arrest in this country, in the states that haven't made it legal, for people for cannabis crimes. And there needs to be an instant moratorium on this. This needs to stop immediately. I mean, we're all citizens of the United States. Certainly law enforcement can see that since we have 2 states that have adopted legal cannabis and many others that have lax cannabis laws and whatnot, certainly we can see that there is no place left in our society to be continually arresting people for cannabis possession, or whatever cannabis crime it is. This is wrong. And another thing that's wrong is that the people who are in jail right now that have been incarcerated because of cannabis crimes need to be freed today. They should have been freed on January 1 when these 2 states went into effect with their new laws making cannabis legal to possess, legal to grow, legal to smoke. Why hasn't that happened in this country? Why is part of this country just so hell-bent on this mindset of the past, if you will, and they just don't seem to get it, the fact that cannabis is safe, or they continue to make these lies so they can keep on what's been going on when cannabis has been illegal, and that's boosting arrests, boosting prison populations, and this is just wrong. We have nobody even mentioning the fact that they need to change the drug policy so when people are at work and they happen to test positive for cannabis, that they don't lose their job. What is that all about? I mean, even in the states of Colorado and Washington where they have made it all, they're very slow into getting this type of thing changed, and this really is a big issue. How can you have a substance that's so-called legal, voted legal by the people, passed by the legislature there from the vote and all, and then you're going to continually enforce a drug policy that absolutely, positively prevents them from smoking cannabis or using legal cannabis for fear of losing their job should they happen to be drug tested. And this needs to stop. What type of citizens are we in this country that we allow these things to keep happening? We allow the lies from law enforcement talking about how we have this illicit deadly narcotic that's just wiping people out on the streets, and it's just not. This isn't going on, and we've got to do something about this. The citizens of the United States need to get together right now and demand an immediate stop to all the arrests. We need to demand an immediate release of anybody that has been incarcerated for any type of cannabis crimes. And we need to immediately stop all of these types of things where they refer to cannabis, instead of referring to it as a cannabis herb, as has been outlined and guidelined by the department that we depend on so much to make, technicality of everything. Why aren't we following that protocol? It's not a deadly narcotic. It's not to be referred to as a deadly narcotic. It's to be referred to as a cannabis herb. So we have a lot to do in this country. We've certainly made strides. There certainly is, wonderful that the people in Colorado and the people in Washington and other states that are allowing the growers and people to grow their own cannabis and all. This is a wonderful thing, and this will in the long run end a lot of this illicit gang activity and types of criminal behavior that depend on the cannabis market, because you're going to have a substantial amount of people there in these states where it's already legal that can grow cannabis that don't use cannabis, and they're going to be looking for a place to sell their product. And if you continue to have these stringent requirements about cannabis and all, you're just going to keep fueling the illicit market. All they'll do is drop their price below the dispensary price, and the people won't have to pay the sales tax. This is already happening. So we really need to, if we're going to get on a path of legalization, we really need to do it completely. We don't need to have these stipulations where pretty much becomes a leg iron to the people involved. And we don't do this for people who want to drink alcohol. We don't do this for people who want to smoke cigarettes, other than putting an age requirement on it and all. And we certainly should let adults in this country, if they choose that they want to smoke cannabis, that is their right. If they want to grow their cannabis, that's their right. If they want to be able to have a place to go down to the store and buy their cannabis, if they can't have a place to grow it, if they don't know how to grow it, or if they just don't want to grow it and they just prefer to go and buy it, that should be done. And it should happen in all 50 states. We are all Americans here. We're all part of this United States of America. And it's just wrong that we all don't get to share these freedoms. And it shouldn't be decided by who has the stronger majority of vote or party vote in one state or the other. When it comes down to personal choice, it should be that. It should be what your personal choice is. For every personal choice out there that decides that cannabis is what they want to do, that they want to smoke, there's an equal person of choice out there that can choose not to do that. Nobody's binding anyone to smoke cannabis if they choose not to. And this is where the fallacy lies. You should have equal choice of whether you want to, or equal choice of whether you don't want to. And this shouldn't be decided by the vote of anybody. And that's where we have lots of issues to overcome in this country. But let's get the people out of jails that are in there serving cannabis crimes. This is wrong. Let's get rid of the drug policies where they include cannabis and drug testing, of where people lose their jobs from testing positive by smoking cannabis. This is wrong in not only the 2 states that are legal, but it's also wrong in all the other 48 states. This is a person's personal choice and right to do, as long as they aren't bringing this to their job site and getting caught at the job site in some kind of condition where they can't perform their job. I don't think that's going on with the people who smoke cannabis. And it's certainly wrong that we don't have equality amongst the drug policy, like the people who go out and tie one on the night before, or smoke cigarettes constantly at work, or whatever, take prescription pills from their doctor, or whatever it is. It's just, we've got to get past these issues, and we certainly need today to stop all the arrests in this country for any type of cannabis crime whatsoever, whether it's distribution, possession. I don't care if you have 1 ounce, 1 joint, 100 pounds, whatever. The arrests for cannabis possession or distribution need to stop today in this country. And I think if we at least start there, then the rest of it will start to fall in place. And certainly you people out there that don't smoke, the ones that have been behind all these lies and believing that cannabis kills, that it was, an addictive substance and that's a deadly narcotic and all that, surely you now are starting to see the truth about cannabis that we've been trying to tell you for at least the last 40-something years, and certainly what's been exemplified in the last 75 since it was made illegal. So, don't show your dumb cap. We're not expecting all of the government and law enforcement and all of them to admit that they were wrong. We know y'all have been wrong. We've known this for many decades, and we're not expecting any type of restitution for these criminals that are being let out, but what we do expect this type of nonsense to stop. And I encourage all of you to, tell your congressmen, tell your law enforcement, all of them, that this type of activity needs to come to a screeching halt. I thank you for joining the Cannabis Corner, and I hope to see you real soon. Thank you.